You may now begin your presentation.
From coast to coast, nature's beauty surrounds our people.
From the sand dunes of Death Valley to the snow-capped peaks of Mount McKinley.
From the plunging depths of the Grand Canyons to the rising geysers at Yellowstone.
From our hidden caves to ocean waves, we've been blessed with incredibly rich and diverse resources.
But all of this beauty is not what most of us see each day.
Instead, we see usable materials being thoughtlessly discarded into landfills, slowly destroying our environment.
We see people discarding their lives for lives of crime, leading our nation to imprison more citizens than any other in the world.
And we see people who have lived troubled pasts with a desire to better their futures, only to be turned away and discarded because they don't have an education or the experience to obtain employment.
Our SIFE team has been moved by those discarded throughout our local and global communities.
We are SIFE USA, and we're excited to share our projects with you today. These projects are much more than activities we've created to help us win a competition. Rather, they've become the lifeblood of our members.
Throughout today's presentation, we'll be using a three-stage system to describe our projects. A primary goal for our projects is empowering others through free enterprise. Thus, we don't want to be the sole element for the success of our community partners. Rather, we hope to empower, educate, and equip them to operate and thrive on their own.
In our Stage 1 project, students are serving on the front lines, focused on teaching business skills in our communities.
Our Stage 2 projects build off these relationships that we fostered with our community partners to move them towards self-sufficiency. Through business plan creation or administrative consulting, these projects may still have students helping on the front lines, but the main focus is developing organizational sustainability.
Finally, our third stage projects are nearing a handing off point, where the business or the community partner nears being self-sufficient. Although Belmont SIFE is always available to provide ongoing consulting, our goal in Phase 3 is to enable and empower the nonprofit to self-manage a sustainable, profitable, and even scalable social enterprise on its own.
This year, our team has worked with 15 separate projects, including 6 projects in Stage 1, 7 projects in Stage 2, and 2 projects that have transitioned into Stage 3. Unfortunately, we only have time to discuss 4 projects with you today. Thus, we'll start with a Stage 1 project, Philanthro-Teach.
Across our city, a multitude of nonprofits exist to help people in need. These organizations serve battered women, drug addicts, and the homeless, among others. While these organizations specialize in meeting the immediate and specific needs of their members, they struggle to provide long-term assistance in finding a career for those broken by life's hardships.
To help meet the needs of nonprofits throughout the Nashville area, one of our SIFE students, Andrew Bishop, created Philanthro-Teach, a nonprofit that specializes in providing career and skill-based education to groups throughout our community. By developing multiple curricula and establishing a deep group of specialized volunteers capable of teaching multiple areas, this organization takes the spirit of SIFE and amplifies its reach far beyond our campus, surpassing the impact our team alone could provide.
To help make Philanthro-Teach a success, students worked with Andrew to take his concept and make it a reality. This year, we helped create a formal operating plan for the organization, developed a 16-member board of directors, secured funding, completed paperwork for, and received 501c3 national nonprofit status, and created a new marketing plan for the organization.
Our most exciting development for Philanthro-Teach this year was the creation of a workforce readiness program. The program is an 8-week training set with 2 main goals: teaching soft skills, which include interviewing, budgeting, conflict management, and communication skills, as well as hard skills, which includes math and reading. The soft skills portion is taught by community professionals and university faculty in one-day workshops, while the soft skills portion is taught by university students throughout the 8-week training session.
For the hard skills section of the material, we patterned our approach on ACT's nationally recognized key train system. This process teaches more than just the knowledge necessary for most jobs. It also leads students through the material covered on the National Career Readiness Exam. The students who pass the exam will have demonstrated that they have learned valuable business-ready knowledge, as well as obtain a tangible certificate exemplifying that their skills are ready for employment. We recently completed our first full program cycle where 7 refugees new to our country and our language achieved their National Career Readiness Certificate, proving that the knowledge they gained through our program has prepared them for a successful career.
Despite the newness of the organization, over 500 community members have already received job training through the Philanthro Teach program. Through quantitative and qualitative measures, we found a consistent increase in knowledge across several learning disciplines. And since many of our partner organizations, such as the YWCA, have job placement programs, we've been an integral part of getting their clients ready for job opportunities. For many programs, Philanthro Teach has already become a core part of transitioning people from a difficult past to a successful future.
Philanthro Teach is special because it provides university-level education in a human services way for women who wouldn't otherwise have access to such a stellar education. The ability to learn from Philanthro Teach, go out and get a job, is like a ticket to the ability to make your decision about whether you want to live in a violent relationship. We're really grateful to have a partner who can provide the caliber of education and training at no cost to the YWCA and to the women we serve.
For our community, where almost 1 in 5 are at or below the poverty line, career readiness is providing much more than rehabilitation for those struggling at nonprofits throughout the Nashville area. It's providing hope, stability, and a chance at a new life.
Our second project is a new project for our team, a Stage 2 project called Be a Blessing.
In 2009, Guatemala barred all international adoptions. Unfortunately, this policy had 2 negative outcomes: an increasing number of children remaining in orphanages and a loss of income for so many homes dependent on international adoption fees to help fund their programs. After seeing the financial struggle of so many of these orphanages, Bali Pesabene, a Guatemalan college student, was determined to help. 2 of our SIFE students met Bali on a study abroad trip where they decided to help her grow and develop her struggling social enterprise, an enterprise with good intentions but little impact.
When we started working with Bali, she was making bracelets on her own and struggling to find ways to expand. Through some of our local Guatemalan contacts, we introduced Bali to an all-female orphanage in desperate need of funding, the Mary and Martha Orphanage. The organization houses 105 girls who have been abandoned, abused, or become pregnant as victims of incest.
We worked with Bali to develop a relationship with the nuns at the orphanage. Instead of just giving the orphanage money, we decided to involve the older girls in this enterprise to give them a sense of ownership and pride in supporting their home. The relationship was a natural fit considering the older girls are already enjoying making the bracelets during their daily craft time. Now with supplies coming from Bali, these daily crafts would be sold with the proceeds going directly to the orphanage.
We started from the beginning. We helped Bali set up a separate bank account and discussed how to use funds from the sale of bracelets to manage new inventory and other fees. We explained basic inventory strategies and helped create product tags to market and display the bracelets. We also discussed the importance of keeping track of sales information, both for basic accounting and potential fundraising opportunities.
Understanding that Bali had already undertaken a large task, we volunteered to help sell the bracelets here in the United States. We partnered with a local middle school excited about the opportunity to sell the bracelets to support the orphanage. We taught the middle schoolers basic entrepreneurial and marketing skills that they use to sell the products. Through our local efforts, over $4,000 were raised to support the orphanage. Those funds alone fully financed the home of 105 girls for approximately 3 months.
Recently, we helped Bali register the organization as a Guatemalan nonprofit to promote donations. We also have led her through the business plan development process and helped her set up a website in order to sell the bracelets internationally. Finally, understanding that these girls are only making the bracelets for fun during their daily craft time, we've considered other groups in Guatemala that might be interested in making the bracelets as demand increases.
Through the Be a Blessing program, we've fostered an entrepreneurial spirit within our local and global community and kept a struggling orphanage running despite harsh economic conditions, all through the power of free enterprise.
Our next project is a Stage 3 project, Fashionable.
In Addis Ababa, the capital city of Ethiopia, more than 150,000 women are currently living lives of prostitution just so that their families can survive. A nonprofit started and run by Ethiopians called Women at Risk offers counseling, provides child and medical support, and teaches job skills to these women who are trying to turn their lives around. Yet despite the program's 90% success rate of helping women to start new careers, the program was lacking the funding to remain a sustainable enterprise.
In 2010, Barrett Ward, a native of our Nashville community, was living in Addis Ababa, where he learned about the financial need of the Women at Risk program. As his family was preparing to return to the U.S., they noticed a local woven scarf industry. Considering that this product could become popular in the U.S., he started Fashionable, an apparel business that employs women from the Women at Risk program to craft scarves for resale in the United States.
There were several things that Belmont SIFE provided to keep Fashionable thriving this year. Our team consistently provided 10 to 20 volunteer hours each week to assist with shipping the pressed scarves, tagging inventory, and fulfilling orders. We helped Fashionable find a SIFE student to serve as an intern and a full-time employee. We continue to house Fashionable in our social enterprise incubator. And also, one of our favorite new activities this year was a holiday fashion show, a huge success that brought in over $1,200 in revenue and showcased the mission of the organization to our community.
Our most effective strategy for Fashionable this year was a focus to increase Fashionable's retail presence. By visiting apparel markets in Atlanta and LA, our SIFE team increased the number of store locations for Fashionable products from 70 to 254 retailers. These efforts helped Fashionable to earn over $330,000 in sales revenue this year alone. That's a $255,000 increase from last year.
But as with all of our Stage 3 projects, we have a continued goal of taking the project from its current point to self-sufficiency. There were several things we did to advance Fashionable to that point this year. Surprisingly, the founder had not developed a business plan for the organization and asked us to do so. That plan was used to secure funding that made Fashionable's 2011 holiday season possible. We recently worked to refine that business plan with Barrett, so it includes financial projections for the next 3 years. We're continuing to consult with Barrett, answering his questions and help as his business becomes more self-sustainable. But most importantly, we're helping to change the lives of women in Ethiopia.
My name is Bizuaya. I don't have any sisters or brothers. My parents passed away, and I was very lonely. I was 18 years old when I started it, and I learned about it through my friends. It was a very sad life. There was no happiness, no peace at all. It feels so good to get up in the morning and say, I'm going to work. My mind is so restful now. I am so thankful for this opportunity. In the future, I want to have kids, and I want them to have a better life than mine. I don't want them to experience my childhood, but want a better life for them and me.
By helping to turn this social enterprise into a thriving venture, Fashionable is now able to employ 25 women who would otherwise still be on the streets. These women are able to send their children to school, are home each night, and are preparing for their futures. Fashionable is helping Ethiopian women turn away from their lives of prostitution and providing them with the job skills necessary to survive the Ethiopian economy. Each of these entrepreneurial steps is leading to a profound effect in changing lives around the world.
Finally, our flagship project, Springback Recycling, another Stage 3 project.
Every industry has its own traditions, the way business has always been done. Most of these norms make sense. Bankers count cash deposits with their customers, and doctors scrub their hands before surgery. But for the American mattress industry, there was one tradition that was doing far more damage than good. Typically, a mattress retailer would sell a customer a new product, collect their old mattress, and send it to a landfill, something to which they never gave a second thought.
Considering there are nearly 10,000 landfill fires every year in the United States, each releasing dangerous toxins into the air and posing serious threats to our firemen and women, the U.S. mattress industry was in need of a new way of doing business. An innovative change is just what our SIFE team had in mind, to promote the complete recycling of used mattresses within the mattress industry.
We started by finding a used mattress and tearing it apart. We were surprised at how much usable material was wasted within each discarded mattress. Metal, wood, foam, all of it had potential. So we began an in-depth analysis that took us nearly a year to complete. We researched the market for reselling the materials, developed our own disassembly process, created financial projections, and determined that the project had serious potential. We then developed a thorough business plan that earned $2,500 in seed money at a national business plan competition that finally allowed us to pilot our business.
While we were excited about the opportunities this new business venture had to provide for the environment, we were also excited about the opportunities it had to help the community. We knew from the start that we wanted to work with employees who could use this job as a way to turn their lives around. After meeting with groups throughout the community, we found one organization working with formerly incarcerated men trying to reintegrate back into society. For many of these men, not finding proper employment can mean falling back into their old lives of crime.
Nationwide, nearly 50% of formerly incarcerated men are unemployed. And without employment, 67% of these men will find themselves back in prisons within just 3 years of being released. A detriment not only to their futures, but one that costs taxpayers more than $23,000 a year for each inmate behind bars.
You know, somewhere between 75 and 80% of people arrested without some sort of intervention, some sort of assistance, are going to return to jail. I couldn't find a better relationship to have with a program outside of the Sheriff's Office, and we're very, very proud of what's working. You know, I think it's the best example, really, of a way to show men who are in the system how to get started in the life outside of the correctional system. And so, although we need Dale in our community, we also need Springback to help not only the environment in the community, but the men who we see going out of the door of the jail every day.
When these men find jobs, they gain more than financial stability. They find friendships, a welcome place in the community, and a purpose, something that many released felons never find. After meeting these local men, we knew this was going to be a powerful partnership.
As our business began to grow, not only did we continue to develop the business, but we also invested in the lives of our employees. We know these men have potential beyond just disassembling mattresses, so we began training them in leadership, as well as accounting and inventory management to prepare them to manage the business. We've also worked with men interested in furthering their education. Specifically, we walked one employee through the college admissions process where he was accepted and earned all A's in his coursework. Most importantly, we've developed relationships with these men, encouraging them, building their confidence, and establishing friendships, showing them that they're not alone. This spirit goes far beyond the warehouse. We've shared holidays together, meals in our homes, and one of the men even invited us to his daughter's wedding.
This year, Springback impacted the lives of 20 men. Financially, we earned $110,000 in revenue. Environmentally, we've recycled over 550,000 pounds of raw materials by diverting over 15,000 mattresses. That's enough mattresses to scale the top of the Washington Monument 23 times.
A question could be asked in the world of philanthropy, is it sustainable to be sustainable? With the success of Springback Recycling, the answer is yes.
In attempts to grow our business even further, we focused on 2 key areas: increasing our mattress supply and licensing our business to organizations in other cities. First, by reaching out to universities, landfill owners, and retailers, we've increased our weekly supply from 80 to over 500 mattresses. This month, we bid a contract with the U.S. government to disassemble 13,000 mattresses from 2 naval aircraft carriers as a pilot for a long-term, more expansive relationship to eventually include other vessels and military bases. Additionally, we have an agreement with Waste Management Corporation to be their sole mattress recycler in the southeastern region. All of these efforts will ensure the long-term sustainability of Springback's mattress supply.
To prepare for licensing expansion, we created a separate nonprofit entity, Springback Recycling, and named our pilot organization Springback Nashville. We consulted with an operations expert and developed a 200-page operations manual. We also consulted with lawyers on legal ramifications for licensing, solidified marketing expansion materials, and negotiated licensing opportunities in 6 other cities. In fact, we're proud to say that Springback, Colorado is now up and running and has already processed 1,100 units.
Well, basically, I learned everything about running a small business and doing books. I've never done anything like this before. You know, I feel like I'm doing that. And plus, in the position that I'm in, working with employees every day and knowing their backgrounds, I'm seeing the lives change.
I was incarcerated and I was going through the work release program, just keeping me away from the street life out there selling drugs, and it just motivated me. I know I can do much better.
But prior to this, it's been very difficult for me to find a job, being that I've got a felonious background. You know, this program has given me the opportunity to not only get back on my feet, but with a decent, job to, help me take care of my family.
Overall, our team could not be more proud of completing this seemingly insurmountable task. We believe this project is the culmination of everything that SIFE stands for. Socially, understanding the difficulty of finding a job in a tough economy, we hired and trained unemployed, formerly incarcerated men and provided them with a purpose and a welcome place in our community.
Economically, we developed our business from the ground up, a business that became profitable in its first full year of operations. In fact, our enterprise has been so successful in Nashville that we've licensed our Springback model in another city, with hopes to be running in 5 other cities next year. Our community has been so impressed by these results that our project was featured on a national public radio program to over 14 million listeners.
Environmentally, we took potential trash and replaced its centuries of decomposition with an immediate use in our U.S. economy, thus cleaning our air, reducing our waste, and eliminating a major cause of landfill fires. Additionally, we've been working with Congresswoman Blackburn and the International Sleep Products Association to draft legislation and curb mattress disposal in landfills nationwide.
Quantitatively, we've measured everything, from the minutes needed to disassemble a mattress to our sales and cost ratios necessary to make our business a profitable and sustainable venture. These steps have changed those employed to help them start new lives and set positive examples for other inmates, not to mention the environmental impacts that will truly last for generations.
What others have discarded, we valued and made an integral part of our society.
By taking over 500 adults through career readiness programs, guided by our highly knowledgeable and experienced instructors, we've given those discarded by industry the chance at a career and a better life.
By working with a Guatemalan social entrepreneur, teaching her entrepreneurial skills, and raising over $4,000 to supplement a shrinking orphanage's budget, we've taken those discarded by their families and provided them with meals and an education.
By helping a local nonprofit that supports women in Ethiopia, transitioning from lives of prostitution to gaining employment, earning over $330,000 to support their program, we're taking those discarded by a foreign culture and giving them the chance to provide for their families.
And by employing disenfranchised men, by recycling used mattresses and empowering them to run the business on their own, we've taken those discarded in our own society and reintegrated them into a life of hope.
While some might just see trash in these people's lives, we see possibilities. SIFE, now Enactus USA, empowering our community with sustainable change, all through the power of free enterprise.